If you think Groundhog Day sounds like a bad time, these celebs are reliving the worst mistakes of their lives, over and over and over again. Few celebrities have a rap sheet as lengthy and shocking as Suge Knight's. Between 1987 and 1997, the infamous record producer racked up an impressive 8 arrests. The trouble began in '87 when he allegedly roughed up his then-girlfriend and cut off her ponytail. In 1992, he was arrested with Dr. Dre and the DOC for brawling at a New Orleans movie premiere, one that they were not invited to. Then in 1997, after pleading guilty to another assault, a Los Angeles prosecutor asked the court, "How many bites of the probation apple does this defendant get?" The court's response, 9 years in prison. Speaking with the New York Post in 2000, the Death Row Records co-founder expressed his remorse. He said, "I wouldn't say that I'm looking to become a role model when I leave prison, but the violent parts of my life have come to an end." Fast forward to 2015, when Knight was charged with murder for a hit-and-run that left 55-year-old Terry Carter dead and another injured. Though his attorneys initially argued that Knight was acting in self-defense, he later agreed to a plea deal and was eventually sentenced to 28 years in prison. Charlie Sheen's fame and fortune has been undermined by no small amount of turmoil, including a long list of sexcapades, domestic abuse issues, and drug abuse. The mayhem began in 1990 when he accidentally shot his then-fiancée Kelly Preston in the arm. Later that year, Sheen checked himself into rehab. In 1995, he confessed in a tax evasion case that he had spent $53,000 on sex workers. And the next year, he was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend. In 1998, Sheen overdosed on cocaine and returned to rehab. Before their divorce was finalized in 2006, Sheen's second wife, Denise Richards, alleged that he was abusing drugs and abusing her. In 2015, after several ups and downs with third wife Brooke Mueller, Sheen publicly disclosed that he had received a diagnosis of HIV.
It's a hard 3 letters to absorb, you know?
In the years since, Sheen has gone on to advocate for HIV/AIDS awareness, and according to leading HIV/AIDS advocates, he can make a big difference. J.D. Davids, managing editor of The Body, told CNN, "No one would recommend this guy as an ambassador for feminist, egalitarian relationships. That being said, he can absolutely take a vital leadership role in providing accurate and life-saving information on HIV, and in advocating for the policies that can end the epidemic in our lifetimes." T.I. hasn't just rapped about violence and crime in his music, he's also lived it. In 2007, the musician was arrested on federal gun charges. T.I. had been attempting to buy $12,000 worth of weapons through his bodyguard when he was caught by a federal sting operation in Atlanta. He reportedly used a middleman because he's a convicted felon, which means he's not allowed to own firearms. He was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison and ordered to pay a $100,300 fine. Shortly after his release in 2010, T.I. and his wife Tamika Cottle were arrested for alleged drug possession during a traffic stop in Los Angeles. He was sentenced to 11 months in prison for violating his probation. He told the court, "I screwed up." Soon after his release, T.I. was taken into custody again after a particularly bizarre blunder. He was transported from prison to a halfway house in a luxury tour bus, but allegedly failed to accurately disclose his tricked-out mode of transportation to authorities. In 2021, T.I.'s legal woes reached their peak after multiple women publicly accused him and his wife of sexual abuse, dating as far back as 2005. Though the rapper denied all allegations, the scandal cost him and his family their VH1 reality show. Azealia Banks is clearly not afraid to back up her bark with a mighty bite. One of the rapper's most famous public feuds involved hip-hop star Iggy Azalea. Her beef with the Australian singer began when Azealia landed the cover of XXL's annual freshman issue as the only rookie female rapper. She wrote on Twitter, "How can you endorse a white woman who called herself a runaway slave master? Iggy Azalea on the XXL freshman list is all wrong. I'm not anti-white girl, but I'm also not here for anyone outside my culture trying to trivialize very serious aspects of it." Then in November 2013, Banks slammed Pharrell Williams, accusing him of failing to promote their collaboration because she's dark-skinned. She tweeted, The reason ATM Jam did poorly is because Pharrell changed his mind about wanting to be associated with me after he had his light-skin comeback. Banks has also verbally brawled with Lady Gaga, T.I., Nicki Minaj, and Russell Crowe. Yes, Russell Crowe.
Are you not entertained?
Banks claimed the Oscar winner choked her and spat on her in October 2016, a claim which the police have since deduced was false. Between shading Rihanna for her edges, calling Erykah Badu old, and fabricating lies about Lil' Kim refusing to collaborate with her, Banks is certainly not slowing down on the feuds. Stories of Shia LaBeouf and alcohol abuse play like a broken record. The troubled actor was arrested on July 8, 2017 in Savannah, Georgia, and charged with disorderly conduct, obstruction, and public drunkenness. LaBeouf reportedly went off the rails after he was refused a cigarette by a random stranger. He was also said to have initially resisted arrest before being taken into custody. A few months before that, LaBeouf had gotten into a verbal altercation at a bar where he hurled racist comments at a bartender. The worst, however, was still to come. In December 2020, FKA Twigs, who was in a year-long relationship with LaBeouf, filed a lawsuit against the actor, accusing him of sexual and physical abuse. LaBeouf denied most of the allegations, but added that he was willing to take responsibility for some of his past mistakes. The lawsuit has since gone to trial and is currently slated to begin in November 2023. LaBeouf's antics have not only landed him in trouble with the law, apparently they have cost him a number of roles, too. In August 2022, director Olivia Wilde told Variety she fired the actor from Don't Worry, Darling for his poor work ethic on set. She said, "His process was not conducive to the ethos that I demand in my productions." Pete Davidson has 99 problems, but getting a woman isn't one. Since getting his big break on Saturday Night Live, Davidson has racked up a long list of celebrity girlfriends. More often than not, however, these relationships have been short-lived. Davidson's love life first caught the public's attention in May 2018, when he was linked to singer Ariana Grande. That same month, Grande and Davidson went Instagram official, and they got engaged only a few weeks later. Sadly, the pair's romance ended about as quickly as it started. Since his split from Grande, Davidson has dated a slew of Hollywood beauties, ranging from Kate Beckinsale to Emily Ratajkowski, and most shockingly, Kim Kardashian. A source told Page Six at the time of their eventual breakup, Kim and Pete have decided to just be friends. But while fans might be a tad obsessed with his love life, Davidson told John Bernthal on the actor's Real Ones podcast that there isn't much to be interested in.
In 12 years, I've dated like 10 people. I don't really think that's that crazy, but to some people, it seems very interesting.
More than anything, it sounds like Pete Davidson is just getting started. In 2004, an up-and-coming Kanye West stormed out of the American Music Awards after losing the Best New Artist award. Backstage, he aired his grievances, telling reporters he felt swindled out of a win. This marked the start of a hugely controversial career for the rapper. In the years since, West has, for many reasons, earned a spot as one of Hollywood's most divisive figures. Kanye's most popular moment? That would be the 2009 VMAs, where he interrupted newcomer Taylor Swift's speech to tell her she was undeserving of the award she had just won. You probably remember that one. But while he has engaged in many more award show theatrics, West has proven himself to be terribly good at stirring up controversial socio-political drama, too. During a 2005 live broadcast, West called then-President George Bush racist, while accusing him of responding poorly to Hurricane Katrina.
The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Of course, that seems almost tame compared to what West is getting up to these days. In the last few years, he has peddled anti-Semitism, praised Adolf Hitler, cozied up with far-right media personalities, and suggested that Elon Musk might be half Chinese. Perhaps unsurprisingly, West has been suspended from multiple social media platforms and stripped of his billionaire status after losing a lucrative sponsorship deal with Adidas. If there is one thing Piers Morgan will always do, it's speak his mind, for better or worse. Unsurprisingly, this has landed him on the bad side of pretty much everybody. Topping the list of Morgan's very long list of foes is the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, whom he claims was once his friend. Through the years, the television host has engaged in an embattled, one-sided feud with Markle, calling her a whole host of nasty names in the process. Morgan's animosity reached its peak in 2021, however, when he stormed out of a segment on Good Morning Britain after a row with his co-host, Alex Beersford, who had criticized him for constantly attacking Markle.
You continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not my
No.
See you later.
Morgan's blunt talk is not reserved for royalty alone either, as he has feuded with a number of different entertainment stars during the span of his career. In 2018, Morgan's harsh criticism of British girl band Little Mix ended in Jessie Nelson calling him a less than favorable name. The TV star was also once in a long-time feud with Jeremy Clarkson, resulting in a physical altercation at the 2004 Press Awards. He's basically a man who is paid to step on toes. Billionaire, real estate mogul, media personality, former president, potential future felon. Donald Trump wears many hats. Perhaps his most popular title, however, should be the King of Controversy. Between multiple sexual assault allegations, misleading statements, and many contentious political beliefs, Trump has never really left the news cycle. His political career came to something of a climax in March 2023, when the former president was indicted by a Manhattan jury on 34 felony counts over his role in the Stormy Daniels hush money scandal. As reported by multiple outlets, Trump had met Daniels in 2006 and then proceeded to have a months-long affair with her. In a bid to buy her silence, in 2016, Trump used his lawyer, Michael Cohen, to make a $130,000 payment to Daniels. But while his affair with Daniels might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, it is only one of many. In 2018, former Playboy model Karen McDougal revealed in an interview with CNN that she once had a sexual relationship with Trump, which allegedly began in 2006, around the same time he was with Daniels.
I knew he talked to ladies, but I didn't know there was anything else. I didn't know he was intimate with other ladies.
Amid his many legal woes, Trump also paid McDougal $150,000 in hush money. In addition to the affairs, Trump has also faced multiple sexual assault allegations from dozens of women through the years. In true Trump style, the ex-president denied all allegations and has since described them as false smears. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE 4673.